lecture, we are going to learn certain overview and Indian scenario with the context of transportation. The topics which are going to be covered in this session will be Indian scenario of different modes of transport. We will covering various modes of transport in Indian context such as land transport, water transport, and air transport. Dear students, as we all know that a well neat and coordinated system of transport plays an important role in the sustained economic growth of any country. In India, various modes of transportation is observed, such as various modes, distinct modes and services such as railways, roads, road transport, ports, inland water transport, coastal shipping, airports, and airlines. But if we genuinely observe these modes of transport, we will come to notice that railways and roads are the dominant means of transport which carry more than 95% of total traffic generated in the country. I repeat, 95% of the total traffic generated is carried out by railways and roads. Although other modes such as coastal shipping and inland water transport also play a greater role, but the railways and roads would continue to dominate the transport landscape in foreseeable future. So this is the basic summary of transportation in India. Now let us go in detail. Let us learn about first segment of transportation, which is the road transportation in India. We all know that a good network is a critical infrastructure requirement for the rapid growth of any country. If a good road network is there, then it provides the connectivity to remote areas, far situated areas, locations, destinations. It provides accessibility to markets, schools, hospitals, and it opens up the backward region to the trade and investment. Roads also play an important role in intermodal transport development, such as it provides the link through which you can connect yourself with airports or railway stations or ports, etc. If we talk about India, then India has one of the largest road network in the world. It is more than 33 lakhs kilometers. It the road network in India is majorly divided in five categories. Which are those five categories? National highways, state highways, major district roads, other district roads, and village roads. You may be wondering that how these five categories are differentiated. So don't worry, all these categories will be covered in detail and you will get the chance to understand these categories in detail in our next lectures, next sessions. The rural roads, if they are adequately developed and maintained, they hold the potential to provide the rural connectivity which is vital for the higher agricultural income and for the productive employment opportunity. It also promotes access to economic and social services. Let us jump into certain factual details. What are those details? So let me tell you that national highway with a length of 66,590 kilometers comprises only 2% of the road network. All this data are from NHAI 2008 report. But you may observe that the NH is only 2% of road in India, but it carries 40% of the roadways traffic. Now another category which is the state highways. It is having the length more than 1,30,000 kilometers. Then major district road has more than 3 lakh kilometer length. But this secondary system of road also carries about 40% of total traffic. And it constitutes about means it contributes about 13% of the total road length. So these are certain factual details. Now, this is the status of national highways as on 31st March 2008 data. The source is National Highway Authority of India, which is also called as NHAI report. If you observe this report, you will able to know that the express highway in the India are having the length of 200 kilometers. National highways are more than 66,000. State highways are more than 1,30,000. MDRs are worth more than 4,60,000. Rural and other roads are more than 26 lakhs. So this is how you can understand. Now here I have written the single lane, intermediate lane and double lane. You might have heard number of times that this is the 4 lane road or this is the 6 lane road. And technically you don't know that what is the meaning of lane. So don't wonder again. You will get to know what is the concept of NH, SH, MDR, ODR and VR and what is the meaning of lanes as far as highways are considered in our next lectures. So stay calm, be attentive. So these were certain factual details. Now let us jump into certain interesting details that the share of road transport in passenger movement has witnessed the quantum jump. It was 15% in 1950-51 and at the end of 10th year plan it is estimated at around 87%. So this is one of the most important fact. This is the scenario of national highway in India. It has been taken from Maps of India website, which is the authorized authenticated website of Indian Maps. Now let us learn about the second mode of transport, that is the rail transport. We all know that railways are ideally suited for long distance travel and for the movement of bulk commodities. Regarded the better than road transport in terms of energy efficiency, land use, environmental impact, safety, it is always in forefront during the national emergency. Means railways are far better in efficiency, land use, environmental impact assessment and safety criteria as compared to road network. Indian Railways as a historical legacy, it is the vital force of our economy. It is spanning nearly 2 centuries. Indian Railways has been serving the country with utmost pride. It was only in 1851. In 1851, the first train in the country for hauling construction material in Roorkee was commenced. And by 16th April 1853, the first passenger train was operational between Boribandar, Bombay and Thane. You might have heard about the first passenger train 1853. This is the actual first train data 1851, which was used for hauling construction material. Hauling means lifting construction material in Roorkee. There are 14 railway carriages carried out about 400 gates from Bombay to Thane, covering a distance of 21 miles in 1853 and marking the formal birth of the rail network in India. And since 1853, there has been no looking back. It is interesting to note that the railways were introduced to facilitate the commercial interest by British, but nowadays it is used for passengers on hire basis. So these were certain facts. Now Indian Railways is one of the largest rail networks in India. It is world's second largest. Under one management are also credited with having multi-gauge and multi-traction system. We will learn all the concepts of gauge, traction in the second phase of this particular syllabus, which is called as rail transport. Now let us learn the brief introduction of this segment. The track kilometers in broad gauge, the broad gauge is having the specification of 1676 mm of 86,526 kilometer. Meter gauge are having 1000 mm, they are of 18,529 kilometers, and narrow gauge are having 762 or 610 millimeter, which are of 3651 kilometers. Nowadays all these criteria are increased. These are the data which are provided by government of India with respect to 2010 or census 2011. Indian Railway has the distinction of being one of the biggest and busiest rail network in the world, which carry more than 16 million passengers. 16 million passengers and 11 lakh tons of goods on daily basis. Daily basis. In terms of head count again, Indian Railway scores that it employs more than Indian Railway serves more than 1.6 million employability to people that are only second to the Chinese army in terms of people employed. This is the part of railway network in India. They are the railway zones. Now let us learn about the third segment, which is the water transportation in India. India has a long coastline. About 90% of seaborne trade is handled via major ports of Kandala, Mumbai, Nhava Sheva, Marmagao, Cochin, Tuticorin, Chennai, Visakhapatnam, Paradip, Haldia, Goa, and Kolkata. India is bordered by Bay of Bengal, Arabian Sea, and Indian Ocean, and it has the coastline of more than 7,000 kilometers. If to be precise, it is about 7600 or 7700 kilometers. It has an extensive network of inland waterways and seaports. The inland waterways include rivers, canals, backwater, and creeks. We will learn all the terms in detail in the chapter of water transportation. The total navigable length of Indian waterland is more than 4,500 kilometers. And all these things, all these segments, all these particular, what I can say, entities are authorized and they are handled by IWAI, which is Inland Waterways Authority of India. There are 12 major ports in India, 12 major ports, and 180 minor and intermediate ports in India. With the ports handling more than 95% of trade in India, they act as the major gateway for trade. The major ports in India are Calcutta, Haldia, Paradip, Visakhapatnam, and etc. Now, these are certain important inland waterways in India. Now, the last segment is about the air transportation in India. So, air travel is the fastest means to the reach in any part of the world. Domestic air services are looked after by Indian Airlines and private airlines, while the international airport services are looked after by Air India. Nowadays, it has been handed over to another company. Mumbai, Chennai, Kolkata, and Delhi are the four major international airports of India. Nowadays, the number of international airports have been increased. It is being the most modern and quickest mode of transport. The exorbitant the airport traveling are having high rates, but nowadays the entry of private airline companies such as GoAir, Indigo, and their various schemes have reduced the airfare drastically. The recent tax relaxation on air fuel and such soaps will further make the air travel much easier and reduced in cost. The domestic scene is now dotted with the private airlines as the government has now very wisely ended the monopoly of Indian Airlines. Government is in the process of disinvestment in both the Indian Airlines and Air India for the betterment of services. You all have heard about the Air India sector in the news articles. The development of airports is no longer solely under the public sector. Nowadays, the development of airports is done on the basis of PPP model, which is public private partnership model, in which the stake of government means the share of government and private agencies are distributed, and together they combine, they are contributing to develop or create an airport. An international greenfield airport has been developed in Cochin, Kerala with the contribution of NRIs and loans from financial institutions. The approval for the reconstruction of four metro airports such as Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, and Chennai has been given, and most of the reconstruction work has been done according to world-class facilities. Many low-cost air carriers have also entered in the Indian market for last 10 to 15 years. And this is the air network in India with respect to 2000, 2001, 2000 and 2001 data provided by Maps of India. So this was the overall comparison and overall overview about the transportation sector in Indian context. Thank you so much for understanding and listening. Go through the slides and try to make notes on yourself. Thank you.